My name is Rob and I'm not a cyclist. Yet I'm about to embark on the greatest journey of my life. I'm cycling across Africa top to bottom from Cairo to Cape Town. I've been thinking about Project Africa for 7 years now, and every year something would get in the way and I had to postpone it. But finally, 2023 is the year, and it all starts in Egypt.
Or as we call it in Arabic, Masr.
This is how we usually imagine the country. The pyramids, pharaonic ruins, and a lot of ancient history. Yes, sure, it has these things, but Egypt is way more than that. Egypt is located in the Middle East, but also in Africa. Having access to the Mediterranean Sea, the Red Sea, and being a crossroads between Asia, Europe, and Africa, it's been a melting pot of cultures for millennia. Egyptians are Africans, but also considered Arabs. Actually, about 1/4 of the Arab world is from Egypt, with more than 110 million inhabitants in the country. But Arab doesn't necessarily mean Muslim. Even though the main religion is Islam, there are a lot of Christians too. You see, this region of the world is a lot more complex than it may seem, and complexity breeds cultural richness. In recent times, Egypt has been very influential across the Arab world, having perfected the export of its sports, arts, and culture, with around 75% of Arab media and cinema being Egyptian. And we're here to explore the real Egypt, the one Egyptians live in, not the one tourists get to see or the one foreigners witness through television and social media.
Habibi, come to Egypt!
But here's the catch. It's hard to see the real Egypt because it's a military state and has omnipresent police. As a consequence, Egypt is infamous for controlling the image of the country and how the world perceives it, as they have been under a lot of international scrutiny due to recent incidents. Just one bad incident can seriously affect the tourism industry, which is a big part of the GDP of the country. They want to know where you are and what you're doing at all times, especially cyclists. They say it's to keep foreigners safe, but really it's to preserve their reputation. But we want to see and learn about this fascinating land. So the main goal of this whole adventure is pretty clear by now. Cycle across all the country from Cairo to Aswan and experience the most authentic Egypt, all while avoiding the police at all costs. Welcome to episode 1 of Project Africa. So here's the deal. I had organized a little farewell before embarking on the journey. I invited my friends who were still living in Lebanon and those who came back for the holidays. And here I was. No, not here. Here, yeah. Trying to enjoy these last moments with the people I care about before leaving for a long time.
Tonight is party night, baby!
It felt great to be surrounded by friends and family. And before starting this new chapter, something had to be completed. Something that would humble me. Something that would mark the start of a life-changing adventure.
We need a circle! As you may know, Roberto is going to Africa. And going to Africa is a big transition. And to mark this transition, Roberto is going to do something special.
Roberto is gonna actually cut a symbol, which is like his hair.
The hair is something that is part of the personality of the person. This is a big new adventure for him. I think the biggest one of his life, one that he has dreamt since his childhood to achieve.
This is not an easy thing to do at all, but I need to do it because it's symbolic for me. And also for practical reasons, Africa is gonna be very hot. And I want all my friends to cut a bit of my hair.
And I'm glad we're all gonna do it!
This is the first time seeing myself 5 years of hair gone in like 15 minutes. It's time to leave now to Africa. Traveling today to Cairo. The trip is officially starting. To the airport. Let's do this. After 7 years of talking, now it's acting. Dude, wow. It's happening. 1 year on the road.
After finally getting on the plane and leaving Lebanon, I met with my friend Florence. She was also traveling with me to Cairo. Yep, I'm not cycling alone. Flo has been one of my best friends for a couple of years now. Third culture kid and travel lover, I told her about Project Africa when we first met in 2019. And her, I promise I'll tag along for 2 months, quickly became, I want to do the whole thing. And we've been planning it together since. But for Egypt, we had no idea that we were about to meet 3 other awesome people who would tag along and make the trip truly unforgettable.
Touchdown in Africa, in Egypt, and even more specifically in Cairo. Safe that we don't even know comes with a smile after waiting an hour for us at the airport. And We're touching African ground. First time in my life. This is incredible.
After finding a way to pack my bike in Sif's car, we left the airport to meet with Shahab.
We are with Shahab right now.
Hi.
We just met Sif and Shahab. It's amazing.
Shahab is Egyptian. He's been an internet friend of mine for a couple of years now, and we'll get to know him a lot more over the next couple of weeks. We then headed to our base.
We are couch surfing in this apartment tonight. Night 1 in Cairo. Wow.
You look like an egg.
I look like an egg.
There's a light coming from behind it. So
I still need to get used to this. Oh my god, dude. So weird.
On our first day in Cairo, Shahab offered to drive us to the Sudanese Embassy. The mission of the day was to apply for the visa to be able to enter Sudan after cycling across Egypt.
Day 1 in Cairo. Shahab has been helping us all along today. We met him actually yesterday. We just met this guy, Tim, at the Sudanese Embassy. He's Dutch and he's a legend. Super cool energy, super cool vibes.
I'm hitchhiking from the Netherlands to India, now in Cairo, Egypt.
While waiting in line at the embassy for 4 hours, I challenged Tim to spontaneously buy a bike and join us in cycling the Egypt leg, instead of hitchhiking as he had planned and missing out on so much of the fun along the way. And he said yes. A bit later, even Shahab became interested.
And they're considering to come and cycle with us throughout the country.
I have no idea how I would do this because the last time I rode the bike was a couple of years ago and
Dude, my opinion,
I'm just
can do it, bro.
I'm just amazed what a waiting line can do for your life.
We're now going to eat koshery for the first time.
Koshery!
This is the national dish, koshery.
Koshery is a classic in Egypt. It's made from the leftovers that Egyptian households didn't consume throughout the week. A mix of rice, noodles, lentils, and chickpeas. To that mix, you add tomato sauce, fried onions, and a special garlic vinegar sauce.
You want hot sauce?
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, it seems like a weird combination of flavors and textures, but I can assure you it's delicious and really filling.
Oh my god, this is amazing, really good.
Your first time.
Yeah.
Damn.
Shahab then drove us to his house to meet his dad. I've never seen a man so passionate and knowledgeable about his country.
If you want to make the visit for the Wahat, you need at least 1 month. At least 1 month for the Upper Egypt.
There's here around 200 mountains, at least, with caves, prehistoric paintings, only in like this spot.
This is one of the advantages of traveling. You get a free history lesson, you have new friends, and you taste amazing food.
Listening to Shahab and his dad was very exciting. Cycling down the Nile, we were going to learn so much in Egypt. It is a very special feeling to look at a map and see the distance you'll be covering with the power of your own 2 legs. The Nile River is the longest river in the world and is the lifeblood of Egypt, playing a crucial role in the country's history and development. More than 95% of Egyptians live along it. Wow. And later in the evening, my old friend Angelo and his friend Luca joined us.
Angelo just joined, obviously, with his guitar. And Luca, right here, a legend.
The plan for the next day was simple. We were all going to spend New Year's Eve in the desert, somewhere remote, north of the Arun Lake.
Adventure time! Last day of the year. We're spending it in the desert before starting our journey from Cairo to Cape Town.
I'm taking you guys to a plateau that overlooks all of Fayoum city. We're gonna stay there for a little bit and then we're going to camp next to the lake.
We just found out where we're going. Actually, I didn't even understand what we're doing.
We just arrived on Mars officially.
Good, we're looking for Maydum. I don't know if you've seen him.
Wow. 2 bald guys in the sunset. 100%, 90%. Magical.
There was no one else around for miles. It felt like absolute freedom. And while the sun was setting on the horizon, we headed to our camp spot.
Last sunset of the year of 2022.
Despite the crazy winds, we managed to set up our tents, cut some wood with a bit of difficulty, and make a cozy campfire to spend our last hours of the year of 2022.
We're having a campfire right here.
And now we're gonna play a special bonfire. Happy New Year, buon anno nuovo la mamma.
Do you know what I know means in Spanish?
Also in Italian, the way you said it.
Anno nuovo.
marinero, 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 marinero,
And a happy new year.
The next day was spent exploring the beautiful and underrated ruins around the region, which date back to old pharaonic times, but have seen a lot of influence from later empires and cultures.
We're exploring the storage room of a city that is 4,000 years old. It was pharaonic, then Roman, then Coptic. We found a lot of pottery, obviously.
No, I can't, bro. I can't see There's so much sand, bro.
I don't like sand.
Exploring the Arun Protectorate threw me back to when we were looking at Shahab's old maps from the 1920s. There must be so many unknown places and vestiges from the past to find in Egypt, and it would be absolutely impossible to visit, document, and learn everything about its past. But we will for sure try to do so to the max, as long as our Egyptian visa allows us to do so. The next day, we went to the Sudanese Embassy to get our passports back and explore Old Cairo.
Just came back from the Sudanese Embassy and we got our visa.
What the hell?
Stepping stone to be able to keep on going to Cape Town.
Nearby was Khan Khalili, a great place to get a glimpse of the chaotic nature of the city, the incredibly rich history and diversity of the culture and beliefs that stem from the region. Markets usually give a great insight about how a country's doing overall.
Cairo is absolutely buzzing with life. It's incredible. Non-stop movement. I visited a lot of souks and markets in my life, but this one is special, man.
And to be honest, looking around and seeing a whole range of ages working and being active, it seemed pretty flourishing. I mean, Egypt is the largest economy in the Middle East, but in reality, Egypt is going through an economic crisis. Things were shockingly cheap here.
$1.50 for our breakfast. We got cheese, we got ishperedi, we got water, and we got 5 bananas.
Yum.
Pretty good, no?
Thanks for getting it.
And finally, our departure date was approaching, and the journey was starting soon.
It is the evening before the grand journey. Project Africa is starting tomorrow officially in the morning at 6 a.m.
And we got to meet with Omar Samra, a legendary adventurer in Egypt. He's one of the very few humans on Earth to have completed an explorer's Grand Slam, which means climbing the tallest mountains of all 7 continents and skiing to the North and the South Pole. I wanted to get more insight into how he was able to accomplish feats like this. And surprisingly, he mentioned a bicycle story he doesn't usually talk about.
It was basically starting my job in investment banking at a young age, and then realizing that that's not what I wanted to do for a living. It was already something that I felt, but then it got confirmed to me, being inspired by a friend to going on this cycling journey through Andalusia and south of Spain, and then came back, made me realize more the life that I was living was kind of like a lie. And then I started putting a plan together that I was gonna save enough money to go and do this journey at a time, of course, when everybody was like, you're being irresponsible and you're throwing away a really good job. And even though I had something inside me telling me that I have to do it, I didn't have the words to articulate people in a way that's convincing. So then I realized, well, the onus of explanation doesn't fall on me. I don't have to explain anything to others. I don't even have to explain it to myself. I just have to trust the fact that I feel it and then just go for it. So that was
I love that so much.
Now that I've been adventuring for so many years, I think it's about trying to share what I learned from these experiences.
Meeting Omar now really put things into perspective. I can tell you, mentally and physically, I'm not ready at all to start cycling Africa tomorrow. But I think we just have to trust the process, as Omar said, and let's freaking do this.
And that was it. The day I had dreamt of for years was finally here.
The bikes already.
As the sun was rising, we left the couchsurfing apartment to head to the Wadi Digla Protectorate, where my friend coordinated a send-off for us.
This is Sherief.
Hey guys, what's
Good friend of mine.
Sherief is also a legendary athlete and adventurer in Egypt. Apart from summiting Mount Everest and a bunch of other really technical peaks, he crossed all of Greenland and completed 3 ultra races around the world in the past few months alone. I wanted to get some of his advice, as he has so much experience pushing his limits and being outside of his comfort zone, all while learning how to manage risks.
Any piece of advice for this yearly long expedition we're doing, Project Africa?
This is a big thing what you're doing, so be patient and you gotta be resilient. If you think of it in its entirety, I'm not sure this is gonna get you there. You have to chop it up, break it down into different milestones. That's the way actually you can power through it, and you'll get it.
A journey of 1,000 miles starts with 1 pedal rotation.
Which is true. It's very true.
And that's my friend, Saif.
This is really impressive.
We didn't do it yet, so...
Africa tip to tip, just be patient with the people.
Yeah, that's a good one. Patience is gonna be key, I think.
Now, concerning who's coming with us, Shahab unfortunately won't be able to join us for the first few days, as he still has exams to finish. But he will join in Suhag midway. What about Tim? Well, he's joining. He bought an $80 bike from OLX, and yes, he will be cycling through all of Egypt with us.
Let's go!
That's a legend move, and his bike is named
Legend. Come and see.
Is that a coincidence? I don't think so.
One and only.
That is legendary.
The improvised back.
And finally, we got a last-minute surprise companion, Sherief, the self-proclaimed snack king.
Live my whole life.
Another legend that we met a couple of days ago at a dinner, and he was like, you know what? I'm gonna join you guys.
Yeah.
And that's the plan. It's incredible. I didn't expect this to happen at all.
With Sherief joining us last minute, we had no idea he would be a real blessing to the start of this adventure, even though we barely knew him.
Just rolling down the Nile, meeting all the people, going through the cities. I just like the peace of it. I like being close to everybody, close to nature. It's gonna be a beautiful ride.
Let's do this. Cairo to Cape Town starts today. Let's go. Let's go! Nordic Africa! Eat well! Don't fall!
Shit.
It's not even the first hour of the trip. One of my panniers broke. It's really not the best way to start.
But Project Africa is all about adaptation and perseverance when faced with adversity. So we had to keep on going.
Egypt, this is day one. Let's do this.
All this built-up excitement was being converted into pedaling energy.
Sherief, how's it going? That's the light. We're leaving Cairo right now, and we are going south. The first destination will be Dahshur. We're gonna be camping next to a pyramid that is less famous than the ones of Giza, but that are as impressive apparently.
And from there onwards, the first 2 days went super smoothly. Leaving Cairo's hecticness meant that we were finally seeing more of the natural landscapes.
We're finally cycling in the fields along the Nile. It's freaking magical. You got palm trees as far as the eye can see. Look at this beautiful canal that links up straight to the Nile.
Leaving Cairo also meant that we were meeting a lot more of the locals and interacting with a surprising amount of kids who would come up to us every time they saw us pass by, even following us for a couple hundred meters sometimes.
Bro, Egypt is lit.
I was still in disbelief that the journey actually started, and the roads we were taking were exactly what I was looking forward to.
Day one, and I'm really feeling that the trip has started. Just the drastic change of environments shows you, okay, we're moving, you know, we're moving south.
Just so nice to be away from the city and the hustle and bustle of Cairo.
It's nice to be out in the middle of nowhere, surrounded by greenery.
Just also feel like you're living in a dream here.
It does. We're about to do like 40 kilometers maybe today. I think that's more than enough to experience the transition between moving out of a city as hectic as Cairo to like the fields around the Nile. Let's keep going!
But unfortunately, we had no idea that the peace and freedom we were enjoying on this first day was not going to last. And our whole trip across Egypt was going to be shifted very soon.
Arriving in Dahshur, day one is almost done. Let's see what this place has to offer.
As we arrived in town, we saw the beautiful ancient pyramids from afar.
Oh my god!
And later in the evening, we were hosted for some tea by Ahmed and Mahmoud.
Cheers, guys. Campfire, tea. Welcome to Egypt, guys. Welcome. 1, 2, 3. Day 2 of cycling Africa. Let's do this! Day 2. We're leaving Dahshur and we're going to Maydum, one of the most ancient pyramids that you can find in Egypt. And the plan today is having a good day. So we're here for...
As we were looking forward to reaching the mythical Maydum pyramids, the day started with a flat tire and cycling through a beautiful misty landscape.
It's not really misty, it's just burning trash. But at least it looks cool between the trees, so... yeah.
We stopped in the next village to get breakfast. And again, just like every time you stop for something in Egypt, the kids from the neighborhoods, carried by their curiosity, run towards you.
The usual scenario is kids come up to you and they're like, where are you from? What are you doing here? Some of them are very annoying. I mean, kids are kids, right? Right inside is our breakfast, but it's wrapped in exam papers from the kids.
Today we were having Tamiya, the quintessential street food that Egyptians have for breakfast. It all starts with Eish Baladi, the national bread of the country. They eat it with everything, especially Tamiya. That is also called falafel in most places around the world, which is basically fried fava bean balls. And depending on the place, they also make it with chickpeas or a combination of both. After stuffing the balls in the Eish, you can also add salad, fries, and eggs if you want to. And it's served with even more fries and pickled veggies. We were going to eat a lot of it, it on their journey along the Nile.
واحد كيس ب5 جنيه.
So basically 6 Tamiya is about $1. A super cheap, fast and delicious breakfast. All while the kids from the neighborhood stare at you. But we had to keep going.
What the fuck, guys? This is chaotic!
And when we thought we finally escaped all the kids, we stumbled upon others.
It's crazy, 80% of the people we pass by, they're all like, welcome. They're very, yeah, you see, welcome. That's what I'm talking about. Just wanted to say the weather is just perfect. It can't get better than this.
Honestly, I didn't expect the Egyptian countryside to be that beautiful, that green, that lush. I knew that it was very fertile, but this is on another level. During the beautiful ride, Sherief explained to me that the Egyptian government has plans to develop a lot of the infrastructure along the Nile in the next couple of years. He was happy to be on this trip, to be able to witness the landscapes and villages in all of their beauty, nature, and simplicity before the area's industrialization.
What they're doing is trying to put infrastructure for electricity and for plumbing as well. You know, obviously like fiber, internet, and all that stuff to just kind of like update this side of the country.
And it was kind of true. We already witnessed quite a lot of modern infrastructure being installed. Thankfully, most of the region hasn't lost all of its authenticity yet. And I was also happy that we were witnessing it before it changes forever.
This family stopped us and told us, yo, come for some tea, come for some tea. We're coming for some tea.
This is Arab hospitality at its finest. They don't care who you are or where you're from, but you will get your tea. I noticed that the dad served it to us in a printed glass cup, and some of the sisters were on their phones. The world is modernizing, erasing parts of the traditions and ancestral ways of living, but still not entirely, thankfully. And that's one of the reasons why this trip in Africa is so important to me. We then got offered dates, which, fun fact, Egypt is the world's largest date producer because of how fertile the land is along the Nile and its abundance of water. But a lot more than dates are being planted in the arable lands on the sides of the river.
بنزرع فول وبامية وبصل وحلبة
Oh.
وقرقيد كل اللي بنزرعه هنا.
Wow. Apparently we're the first cyclists they see on this road. That means we're taking the right roads to avoid the police, which Egypt is infamous for stopping cyclists and bringing them back either to Cairo or bringing them to where they want to go, which is usually Aswan. We thanked the family as we had to hit the road again.
And we are going to Maydum, where there's an old pyramid there that seems pretty interesting. We're on the country roads trying to avoid the police.
And shortly after, we finally saw it. The Pyramid of Maydum. It's almost 5,000 years old and is the earliest Egyptian true pyramid, and was originally built for Huni, the last pharaoh of the 3rd dynasty. From afar, there was something so mystical about it. We decided to access it by an off-road desert track, which apparently is not allowed, but we didn't notice.
This pyramid, the Pyramid of Maydum, has literally no tourists. We were the only ones.
And suddenly, it happened. In the distance, we saw it. A police car.
This is the police and they're arriving. We're man.
So what happens now? What is going to be our fate? We decided to do the logical thing to do when the police stops you. We escaped, and fast.
The police stopped Sherief, but we literally started cycling while Sherief was speaking to the police, and we're in the narrow streets of Maydum, and now I'm trying to escape from the police. Damn, this is crazy. This is like a movie chase or something.
But no one can escape from the Egyptian police. And that's because of, again, the kids. Behind their innocent faces, you have some of the best intelligence services of the streets. And in less than 2 minutes, any anomaly will be reported to everyone in the village.
Bro, you've been adopted by some kids or what? What's happening?
Those kids are driving me crazy.
We're in a police car right now. They finally find us. Yeah, we made a whole scene in the whole freaking city.
The police took our bikes and put them in their pickup truck. We were going somewhere unknown.
It's so funny, man. So we went to the pyramids and there was the police there. When they stopped us and they started talking to Sherief, we fled, literally. This whole scene didn't help into thinking that it's a safe place for us to
But
stay
it was
here.
so safe before.
It was safe, I know it's safe.
It was
Most
so
of Egypt
nice.
is safe, but the police is no one understands.
The scene was caused because of the police.
I know.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Before even knowing what our fate will be in the next couple of days, there was one last thing that had to be done.
What the hell is happening, man?
I had lost my selfie stick while escaping from the police, so we all went to search for it, next to the Pyramid of Maydum, at night.
Dude, for that fucking stick. It's so annoying.
currently in a police car because we're being escorted to find Rob's selfie stick in the sand. And I'm currently in the car with all of our bikes. I could not make this up. You guys, I could not make this up. This is only day 2 of our Cairo to Cape Town cycling trip. What the hell? It's only day 2, Rob. That's the crazy thing.
Day 2, bro. We did not find the selfie stick. So now, what happens next? Are we being arrested? Will we even be able to continue our journey across Egypt? Well, subscribe to find out, because this journey is about to get 10 times better.